One more hello, everybody. I would like to say some words from the NGO's point of view to the topic of wilderness protection and wilderness enlargement. I would like to introduce a little bit of our vision and a little bit of our work here in the Czech Republic. First, only several words to introduce the Hnuti DUHA, also the Czech Republic. This is the NGO I'm working for more than 25 years, and well, it's one of the NGOs which was established just before the revolution. We have the central office in Brno, the second one in Prague, and some local groups in Czech Republic. But we, on the topic of wilderness protection, we cooperate. We have a very good cooperation also with other NGOs in Czech Republic, with, for example, for Wildlife Czech Republic, with Czech for nature protection, and with local NGOs just in some places in Czech. We are members of Friends of the Earth, the biggest federation of NGOs in the world. Together we have 25 employees and also volunteers and supporters. And wilderness is one of our main topics we are dealing with. We are working on large carnivores protection because the wolves and things and bears, there are symbolic animals for wild nature. More than 20 years we are working on protection of the Šumava National Park, which is the biggest, largest national park in our country. But the reason why we choose this national park is because we see that there is a precedent for other national parks, and not only for the other national park, but also for the other protected areas, and also for other discussion on possible wilderness enlargement in Czech Republic, because the Šumava National Park is facing the problem with bark beetle outbreaks, and we believe if people accept the large decay of forests at this national park, it will be much easier to come through with wilderness protection at the other places in Czech Republic. The third part of our work on the wilderness topics is that we are trying to find a new space for the new wilderness areas in Czech Republic. And I will, in this presentation, I will introduce a little bit this part of our work. As Mr. Rezek mentioned before, only 0.3% of Czech Republic is without human intervention wilderness. On the opposite, 4.3% of our country is covered with concrete. So we would like to give the same right to wilderness as to concrete. So our goal is to discuss and see the enlargement of wilderness in Czech Republic to 3 to 5% of the Czech Republic area in the future. Well, now we have 0.3, so you can see how far away we are from this goal. The discussion is just starting. We try to introduce the term of wilderness protection, wilderness environment, wilderness restoration in Czech Republic. And not only from the reason to compare, of the comparison with concrete, but there are also, of course, some other reasons to have more wilderness area in Czech Republic, not only the biodiversity one, but also that we believe that we really need large areas with no direct human influence, just to have some reference areas where we can see how the nature works, influenced, of course, by the environmental changes around. If we don't have the representative system, representative for our nature, such an areas just we will let be without the human influence, we will not be able to see how the nature adapt to the changes around. And we had to discuss before the two approaches to the wilderness protection. So we would prefer the hands-off approach, just because we realize that if we are to explain it to the public, we need to be consistent. And well, therefore, we would like to find some more large area in Czech Republic which will represent the types of nature in Czech Republic. Some of them are the current national park, but the current national park, we have two national parks in mountains, one national park in the commune of the river, and one national park which is protected the special geomorphologic landscape in Saxonia, České Švýcarsko National Park. We haven't any floodplain and other parts of lowlands and middle altitude landscape protected as a national park. Therefore, we are suggesting to find some new, more areas when we will just not disturb the natural processes. And of course, there is a question of the next discussion whether we will want to more national parks, or probably we prefer to have such a wilderness area which aren't protected as a national park, because it is much easier. Maybe it is much easier to succeed to have some wilderness area which is not national parks. And to add these large areas, we would like to keep the smaller wild areas like national reserve, or some inaccessible places and other places where just people don't care about. The question discussed before is how to approach some interventions. There was discussed about fires, game management, bark beetle management, invasive species. As I told before, we would prefer the hands-off approach. However, we realized that some of the processes are a real problem. We would like to don't manage fires in the wilderness areas. But we realize that if we talk to the public, don't manage the fires, we can simply kill the continuation of the discussion to have more wilderness places. We need to discuss the fire management with the public much more than we did it till the time. I remember we discussed about bark beetle management in National Park last 20 years. 20 years ago, many people thought that we are mad if we don't want to manage bark beetle even in a national park. And now, after the 20 years intensive discussion, quite a huge part of public accept that we will not manage bark beetle in a national park. Not everybody. So we believe that we need more discussion to persuade public to accept no management regarding the fires. We doesn't support the game management in wilderness area in the national park. And the specific question is invasive species. If we accept that the humans are part of the environmental processes in an area, we have to accept that also the transport of some species across continents are some environmental process. And if we define the goal for a wilderness area just to keep the natural processes without any direct influence, we accept the non-direct influence around. By our opinion, we have to accept the alien species coming also to the wilderness area. By understand that in many places it is a real and terrible problem for natural flora and fauna. For example, of České Švýcarsko is one of the very good example. And maybe the well, we discussed it several times with the people from Czech Nature Protection. Maybe the solution should be that the national parks, and we have to show to you the IUCN definition. Maybe the solution should be that we will intervene against the invasive species in national park, but not in the new wilderness areas. But further discussion is necessary about these questions, and we would prefer to have some broader consensus in nature protection scene in Czech Republic. Now, well, this concept we introduced 7 years before in a press conference and with this brochure, and we have a quite positive reaction from the public. Overall. 6 years later, last year, Michal Hošek and his colleague prepared for us an analysis of the conditions of Czech Republic, which showed where are the areas suitable for non-interventional management in the Czech Republic. That doesn't mean that there is a representative, or that doesn't mean that there is all type of nature condition represented here, but these are the places which have more than 500 hectares, which are more than 500 hectares large, and where the more than 3/4 of biotopes are in natural or close to natural condition. Last year we organized a conference about European trends of wilderness protection, and the discussion which opened discussion about looking for a new wilderness area in Czech Republic, and I would like to thank you to Manuel and other people who was present at that conference. We continued with negotiation with Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Environment, Minister of Regional Development and Defense Ministry, with Czech Forest Services, Military Forest Services, Nature Protection Agency, and with many other experts in Czech Republic. So now we are at the step of discussions. At the same time, last 10 years, we organize a public awareness campaign to gain public support for the wilderness protection. Each year we organize information stalls in Šumava National Park and discuss with visitors the issue of dying trees and the issue of national park protection, and so on. We organized the public excursion because the people are reading about this issue in newspapers and hearing in radio and so on, but only if you see it at your own eyes, you can imagine what does it mean. That the best tools how you can communicate with the people just in the wild nature. We printed many information, printed publication which have maybe a little limited impact depend on how we use it. If we use the printed information materials, for example, in the protected areas like the national park, they have quite a good impact because the people who are visiting the protected areas are looking for information. If you give the leaflet just in the street, they have no impact, of course. We printed also special information for the people who like tours to nature to introduce the wilderness in the public. Calendar and so on. Much more important are work with the social media the last several years. Through the Facebook or web pages and other social media, we can influence and spread the information to thousands and thousands of people. And the topic of wilderness became a very successful theme in the media discussion last 3 years. And we try to directly involve public to the wilderness protection. We organize so-called wolves and lynx patrols, invite volunteers just to monitor large carnivores like lynx in Šumava or wolves and other large carnivores in Western mountains, and now also in other parts of Czech Republic where wolves occurs. And we organize another action where we try to just directly involve people in so-called Weeks for Wilderness. For example, the work to help to restore the peat bogs in Šumava mountains. Both these opportunities are quite popular between the young people, and for example, during the last 20 years, there was nearly 2,000 of participants of Weeks for Forest or for Wilderness, and that's the important numbers which can help us now and the current work to promote the wilderness protection for our to try to enlarge the wilderness in Czech Republic. This year we prepared a bigger communication campaign for wilderness. Well, and at the end of my presentation, some numbers which show you how public accept or don't accept some of the hot questions in wilderness protection. We organized questionnaires in Šumava National Park and asked people whether they accept or not accept to see the huge amount of dry trees in the national park, for example, or what they want to see in the national park. And we have quite a good results, which are positive and hopeful, I think, because more than half of visitors of Šumava National Park really expect to see the nature without human influence in the national park, and maybe half of the visitors don't mind to see the dry trees. The other half dislike to see dry trees in the national park, but only a very small part of them, about 4% of them, don't like to see the trees, and so much that it influenced their choose to go to such a part of the national park where the people overbreaks cause the large areas with dry trees. And 33% people even say that they would like to see these places more and or again to see how the nature developed. In 2015, the Faculty of Social Studies of Masaryk University in Brno organized quite big and deep opinion pool and investigate how Czech people feel the wilderness. What is the approach to Czech people to issues about wilderness protection in Czech Republic? And also these studies give us very optimistic result, because more than 71% of people feel a need to protect wild nature in Czech Republic. If the researchers ask people where they would like to see enlargement of wild places in Czech Republic, the people usually answer that they would like to see the new wilderness places or wilderness area in previous military areas, around the rivers or streams, in bogs, moorland marshes, mountains, and in forest. And opposite, the people don't like to see the new wilderness places at the managed land scale, like the field or meadows. And which is very curious result. If the people can approximate on which part of Czech Republic they would like to have as a wilderness, the average number was more than 13%. And that's what the question asked by the researchers after the researchers explained to people what wilderness really means. So they know what wilderness is at that moment of the research. So what we have learned after many years we are dealing with the wilderness protection. Many lessons we have learned just in the Šumava National Park. We see that wilderness is about a very strong emotion. Many people feel the wilderness very positive. There are also some research by psychology research. People explain that they want to like to be in wilderness just because they are feeling freedom there, just because they are in contact with something above and so on. And many people are able to defend the wilderness. On the opposite, many people who are used to use the nature as for forestry or as for agriculture, don't accept the wilderness because it's waste of the sources by their opinion. Other problem we are facing in Czech Republic is inconsistencies inside of nature protection. If we discuss with the people who are dealing with species protection, many of them don't support and don't accept the wilderness protection as a part of the nature protection, as one of the pillars of the nature protection. And of course, and there are many, you can see it just from this presentation that we need much more discussion here in Czech Republic inside of the people who are working on the nature protection. In a discussion with State Forest Service, with the Military Forest Service, we simply know after the discussion that there is no will to share this idea. Neither if we are viewed by a public supporter and so on. We have a very positive experience in discussion with Minister Stropnický, who is Minister of Defense Ministry. He was very favorable for this idea, but the people in the Military Forest Service simply gave an obstacles and obstruct the negotiation. That if the negotiation in the beginning seems to be promising, we are not sure whether we will find a new area in previous military areas till the end of this vote period, and the new election will be in June. And the ministry come and everything change, and we will start the negotiation again. However, we find a very strong support from public. Now we have thousands and thousands supporters, not only in Facebook but between our volunteers, and we feel this support last month. When there was a strong campaign because of the Nature Protection Act amendment I mentioned before. Wow. So that's from my side. Thank you for the attention. Maybe we can discuss later.
Thank you very much. So it was the last presentation from the chat box, so now we have some time, space for questions, because now we know everything about what is done, what has been doing now. What is quite clear that we don't have so far a clear definition of wilderness that is used at the country level. It was quite clear from the presentation by the ministry that there are some tasks in the National Biodiversity Strategy for future to analyze where are wilderness areas here and what should be approach used to preserve them. But you also see that there are some bodies, both non-governmental and governmental, like national park administrations, and they do a lot in this from their sides and positions. So do you have some questions about it?